Hey, how is everyone doing? It's Saturday night here in Singapore, and welcome to the Melvin Show. Like I say, I haven't decided what I'm going to call the show at this point in time. Um, Today, I want to talk to you about this whole idea about a 3 year overnight success. A lot of time, you may come across people where they look at some of these people who have been who are successful, right? And it's like these people kind of came out of nowhere, and suddenly, in a very short period of time, they seem to have earned their success, and so people brand them as an overnight success. And very often, you marvel at how these people achieve success kind of overnight. And you want to learn from their story. And inevitably, there will be some people who actually take advantage of that situation, and they try to convince you that, yes, it's actually possible to achieve overnight success, where in fact it's absolutely rubbish, because there is no such thing as an overnight success. And even if there is, the possibility of sustaining it, it's slim to none. And so today I want to talk to you about this idea of a 3 year overnight success, because when people saw me on LinkedIn, and the amount of success that I have, getting training projects, getting consulting projects, to be able to work with big brands, and to be able to, do some of the cool stuff. People will like say that, well, what happened? You just came on LinkedIn and you just crushed it. And that could be further from the truth, because the reality was that, I started working on my video skills, and I started working about making videos, for a long time. I was making videos when no one wanted to watch. And, so to say that, you just kind of overnight, it really didn't happen that way, because it's all the days of putting in the effort, putting in the work, and just doing it, right? And just doing it, and just keep on doing it, even when no one's watching, just make it, just make stuff, just create stuff. And, if you are on the right track, obviously, at some point in time, it is going to manifest into a way that you become a success. Of course, it requires a little bit of strategic thinking as well, because you got to be able to look at a situation and say that, are you able to benefit or profit from this situation itself? For example, right now, during COVID-19, and especially as we move into this new norm, whatever this new norm, people are talking about. But, one thing is definitely here to stay. And that thing is, how do we leverage online technology? How do we leverage technology to kind of reach the very people that we want to reach, right? So you can see, as a first level, really is just using technology to replace what we used to do. So what we used to do in the past was basically just, when you want to meet with someone, when you want to meet a client, you actually, go down and you meet the client. Right now, at the first level, because of the new norm, basically you are just replacing that with technology like Zoom and all that teleconferencing stuff. You just use it to replace what you used to do. So that's at one level. At a deeper level, it's where you think about how to leverage technology to do certain things that is able to help you, be more profitable. So one way of looking at it is that, are there things that you have to repeat every time you onboard a new client, for example? And if you do, then, are you able to think about how to use technology, how to use videos to, take care of that part of the work, so that you do not have to be in person to do this, right? You have to think smart, and you have to do it in such a way that you are able to really leverage technology. So that is, at number two, at the second level, and I would argue that at a deeper level, it's really about understanding, how you could use technology to do something that before this we never even thought possible. And so this is where things get a little bit murky, because we're not quite sure whether this can be done and if this is going to be sustainable. But let me tell you this, I firmly believe that online learning is definitely here to stay. Online learning is going to be part of the new norm, whether you like it or not. However, it's not going to be just replacing technology or using technology in place of, you would do it in real time, right? So online learning is not going to replace just because of the fact that you can't meet or you can gather, and that's why you're using this to kind of replace that. That's just first level, right? What we're talking about here is that online learning is really going to take away some level of what we used to do. And so the best way to think about this is that I like to think of it this way. You want to build a relationship with your prospects. The best way to do it is actually to educate them. And by educating them, that is where you kind of demonstrate to them at two levels. One is that if you're so good, right? At two levels, it's going to happen. At one level is that you're going to help your prospects get result even before they pay you. Sounds crazy, I know, for many of us who are old school, but this is the new norm, right? So help them get results even before they pay you. That's number one. Number two is that you are then able to demonstrate to them that, hey, I know my stuff, I'm worth my salt. And, if just the free stuff that I'm giving out to you is able to help you achieve this, imagine if I'm able to, work alongside you, the amount of value that I'm going to be able to bring. Now, all this said and done, I think we have to think about how we are able to leverage technology to kind of do that kind of work. And that's precisely what I want to talk about tonight. It's this idea called a flywheel, right? And I'd just like to read to you. This is from the latest book by Jim Collins. It's called Turning the Flywheel. And I just want to read this part to you. In the autumn of 2001, just as Good to Great first hit the market, Amazon.com invited me, as a Jim Collins, to engage in a spirited dialogue with founder Jeff Bezos and a few members of his executive team. This was right in the middle of the dot-com bust, and when some wondered how or if Amazon will recover and prevail as a great company. I taught them about the flywheel effect that we have uncovered in our research. And in creating a good to great transformation, there is no single defining action, no grand program, no single killer innovation, no solidarity lucky break, no miracle moment. Rather, it feels like turning a giant heavy flywheel, pushing with great effort. You get a flywheel to inch forward. You keep pushing, and with persistent effort, you get the flywheel to complete one entire turn. You don't stop, you keep pushing. The flywheel moves a bit faster, 2 turns, then 4 turns, then 8, then the flywheel builds momentum, 16, 32, moving faster, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and then at some point, breakthrough. Right? And so, if you look at the concept of the flywheel effect, a lot of time the research was trying to find out whether was there a special program that that catapult this company into greatness. And the reality is that there isn't one, right? And in fact, if you read Good to Great in Jim Collins' book, it says that when companies jump from one focus to another, what really is going to happen is that, they experience this thing called a doom loop rather than a flywheel effect. Now, let's relate that into context for our talk tonight, right? Where we talked about the 3-year overnight success. Many a time, people think that all you need is to make that one viral video or have that one viral post, and that is going to catapult you into the spotlight and make you really, really popular or famous. However, if you look at many of the people who have established themselves in the field, it was never about a viral hit. Sure, a viral hit could help, but it was never about that viral hit. It was always about putting in the work. And what Jim Collins said is that it takes two things. One is that it takes discipline, and number two is that it takes creativity. And when we talk about discipline, there are 3 levels that we are talking about. So level 1, when we're talking about discipline, is discipline motivation. What exactly motivates you to want to do whatever you're doing? Number 2, discipline is about disciplined thought. And disciplined thought meaning, the strategic way that you're thinking, the way that you think about the business, that's what we're talking about. And lastly, when you talk about discipline, it's talking about disciplined action. Because if you are just going to be putting out content just because you have people watching, and for a couple of days no one watch it, and you kind of scale back, then obviously, it's not disciplined enough. And without the discipline, it's not going to work. And so discipline is one part of the equation. The other part of the equation, really, it's about creativity. And, creativity is really, the way I would phrase it, it's really to ask ourselves, whatever we're saying, is that what it is? Do we accept what we are saying as is? Or are we able to ask ourselves, what if, or what else could I see this? Is there a different perspective? Are there different ways of looking at things? And very often when we are able to see things from a different perspective, that is where we are able to see that breakthrough. We are able to see that perspective that other people have not been able to see. And that's how we can win, right? And so it's this 2-prong approach. One prong, it's really about putting in the work. But the other prong is also about thinking creatively and looking at how you are able to look at the situation, a little different from other people, and then trying to do that, right? So the concept of the flywheel, I'd like to read that to you again, right? In creating a good to great transformation, there is no single defining action, no grand program, no single killer innovation, no solidarity lucky break, no miracle movement. Rather, it feels like turning a giant, heavy flywheel. Pushing with great effort, you get the flywheel to inch forward. You keep pushing, and with persistent effort, you get a flywheel to complete one entire turn. But you don't stop. You keep pushing, and the flywheel moves a little faster. 2 turns, then 4, then 8, and the flywheel builds momentum. 16, 32, and it gets moving faster, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, and at some point, breakthrough. And so the key idea behind this in relation to the kind of work that we do is as follows. It's not about creating a viral post. It's not about creating a viral video and that is going to catapult you into stardom or into the spotlight. Sure, the viral post or the viral video might put you in the spotlight, but without the discipline and without the creativity, the ability to sustain is going to be pretty hard. And so many people think, and many people only see the success part. What they miss is the part about the hard work, which is very, very real. In fact, if you read Jim Collins' book, he talked about the companies that go through this flywheel effect, and when they became great, many of their competitors will actually caught off guard because, prior to their immersion, they probably laugh it off that they are not going to make it, or they even ignore them. A very, very good example is Amazon. And so if you take a look at Amazon's flywheel, I think you will get an idea of what it looks like. And so what I like to do is to show you Amazon's flywheel right now. So, Amazon kind of started out with books, as we all know. But what was one of the main differentiating point was that they were offering lower pricing on more offerings. And as a result, that leads to increased customer visits. And that leads to attracting third-party sellers. And that leads to expanding the store and extending the distribution. And that leads to growing revenue per fixed cost. And that leads to more pricing on more offerings. And the cycle goes. So each step kind of builds on the preceding steps, and each step will inch the company moving forward to build the next step. So in our world, the way I look at it is that basically, the key thing really is about the following, right? So number one is that you have to think about what is the one thing, what is that thing that will start this thing off, right? What is it that it will start this thing off? Is it is it something that kind of allows you to get people to pay attention to you? What is it that one thing that start you off? What is it that thing that you offer? I just want to pause here and say, hello to Brian Schumann, my great friend over at LinkedIn. He's a great guy. So if you, I strongly urge you to kind of connect with him when you get a chance to, right? So what is that one thing? What is that thing that can get you started, right? And once that thing that gets you started, the next step, what is it going to be? And then the next step. So I've been building my own flywheel over the last 2 weeks. And I must say that, I am very glad to see the results that I've been seeing over the last couple of days. Momentum is building, and that is really, really interesting. And so what I would like to do in the next couple of days is to share with you what are some of the things that I've been doing and how I've been building my own flywheel. So if you want to build your own flywheel, definitely you want to stay tuned, because I'm going to be sharing with you the steps that I take, the lessons that I learned, and what are some of the things that you can consider in building your own flywheel. All right. And so this is Melvin here signing off. Wishing everyone a pleasant Saturday. And if it's Saturday night for you, happy Saturday night. And if it's the Saturday morning for you, Have a great Saturday ahead, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.